Okay, there we go. It was lagging a little bit. Okay, so yesterday, obviously this is still Monday for me, we're in the same thing, but yesterday we left off then with social media influencers, specifically going through the example with DJ Khaled and how it might not be quite as important for their celebrity status, but specifically what their social media status is. So we're going to continue on with our influencer notes. So went through the basics yesterday about what an influencer is, how it could be a bunch of different people, and then specifically what a social media influencer is, and why marketers are using it. But we're getting specifically now into the benefits of influencer marketing. So there is an increased exposure because, again, you're using that influencer, so you're getting their followers to at least look at your products, which in return helps you to get brand awareness. And theoretically, then you're getting an improved search ranking because people are at least curious about what your product is and they might search you more. You will look like a more credible sort of company or product if you're using credible. Remember that we talked about yesterday the specific requirements for an influencer, and credibility was a big one. So you would look to be more credible if you're using influencers who are credible and they're actually giving like honest reviews about your product or service or whatever your company may be doing, or having them review and look over and all that stuff. It effectively reaches your target market. So as long as you're aligning your company and brand up with whoever that influencer is and meshing them together well. So it should be an influencer that makes sense with whatever your product is that you're trying to get out there. And that can then help to get new leads because there are people in the niche of whatever your product is that might not have known about it until this influencer talked about it on whatever social platforms that you wanted them to. And then that can lead to conversion. So it can lead to people actually going out there and buying your product and becoming a fan of your company and maybe even following you on social media or your company specifically. So there are steps to creating a social media influencer marketing strategy. I know, quite a lot of words. And it's similar to just the social media campaign that we've talked about as well, but I just want to go through it because there are some things that you need to do to make sure as a company that you would be on the right path for that, and that you're actually, taking this as a business and not just going out there and doing it and not actually like focusing in on, okay, what do we need to do? So there are steps to make it successful. So the first step is you need to establish your goals. This is pretty much the first step in everything that we've done so far that has steps in this class. So you should make sure that you're looking at what your objectives are, and you're tying those into your social media marketing strategies. So this could be a specific strategy underneath, if that makes sense, your social media marketing strategy. So you have your social media campaign. In that, you go into your marketing strategy. Within your marketing strategy, you could then have influencer as a part of that. And then you need to go through exactly what you'd be doing for that. So then step 2 is to determine who you are trying to influence and the different channels that you want to interact with. So think about what channels your target market is using the most, what type of channels you're already on that they're interacting with you, and then figure out an influencer who aligns with that channel, with your products, all of that. So step 3 is that you should identify those influencers that your target market will trust. So look at all those different influencers that, again, are in the niche that you want them to be in. They're on the right platform that you want them to be in, and figure out if your target audience or market, whatever, will actually trust and respect them and their opinions so that you have success with that partnership. So in step 4, before you actually reach out to some of those influencers, you should look at what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're engaging with the customers, and how then you want to engage with them and start that relationship. So it's actually an important thing to have a relationship with them before reaching out directly, because then you're getting that relationship, that build up, before actually like asking them to have that paid partnership. If they like you beforehand, that's always an important step. So then step 5 is to actually physically reach out and discuss that potential partnership. Influencers derive their value from partnering with brands. Companies need to be able to define their specific benefits for their influencers. So you need to tell them why having a partnership with you would be a good idea. What are they getting out of it? And even show them what you're getting out of it. So then step 6 would be to incorporate that influencer marketing into your social media strategy. So you utilized your influencer, you got into contact with them, they agreed to whatever your benefits were. So now you're going through the terms, and they're actually reaching out, interacting with your brand, putting it out there for their followers to see. So then step 7 is where you would report and analyze. So this is where you're actually looking at the effectiveness. Usually the influencer will be the one who will be giving you all this information, because they're the ones that have the analytics for each of their individual posts, not you, since they're the ones who are posting it. And it is important to measure both the quantitative as well as the qualitative data. So looking at people, if it had like a swipe up link, looking at the people who are swiping up and actually doing that, versus looking at people who are commenting and asking questions about your product. So it's a good thing to have like both of those, and measuring both of them, just to see where everything's at, and not just looking at, did we make sales? You need to look at both. So, okay. An example of this and like the best practices is Contiki, which is like a bus, I guess, like a road trip, like a bus that would take you to all these different places that you would travel to. And so Contiki in 2015. Okay, so sorry, this is a little slow. Okay, so as you can see, or as you just saw, that was an example of how Contiki used a bunch of different, specifically YouTubers, in order to gain all of this increase for them as a company, even getting those conversions to having people buy their packages. They did a lot by having all of them do takeovers, as well as even having a specific YouTuber be the host. So there's a lot of different things going on there that was like best practices. So continuing on from that, then that was back in 2015. In 2017, then they launched the Travel Project, which is just like a celebration of why travel is so important. Although at this point, please do not be traveling, stay inside, watch those Contiki videos to get your wanderlust in if you can. But basically, this new one then, look at it. It features the work of different influencers and content creators across different types of platforms to just share their stories about their travel experiences. Okay, we're not. It worked last year. Why? Actually, huh. Oh, okay. Just that specific link was not working. But these are all of them. They have different influencers that share their stories and even specific things that are important to them. Like if you're turtle obsessed, specifically in Australia, there's a turtle hospital that you can go and visit, and why it's important not to use single-use plastic. There's things like about Costa Rica, Hawaii, so you can even search in here. Ooh, hygge, stuff about hygge, love hygge. So you can even search in here for specific things, like popular things about what to pack, different city guides, travel hacks, if there's a specific destination you want to go with them. So there's lots of content available. Okay, so I believe that is it for our notes. So yeah, continue on with your food truck stuff, and I will have another video after this about all of your food truck info. I know, I'm embarrassing and annoying. It's fine.